Well, congratulations. You just came from meeting the king and you're here at NASDAQ ringing the bell for after a fabulous year last year. So congratulations. And thank you for taking the time to meet with us to share your history and sort of your views on Industry 5.0 technologies for the students at Columbia University. So why don't we start? I mean, you've had a very incredible career. You starting at the United Nations, heading up security. And so what inspired you to sort of pivot into this entrepreneurial stage, and what gave you this vision for understanding the role of sort of cryptography and all these technologies in the area of cybersecurity?
So first of all, thank you for having me, Christina. It's a pleasure for me to address the audience. So yeah, I started very young in the UN. I was only 23 after college, and the UN is a very big organization. I was on technology, so I was not really involved in the politics. And I realized that the human aspect of technology was not properly treated. Already many years ago, I was in Geneva. Geneva invented the World Wide Web, so I had the amazing opportunity to share with Tim Berners-Lee and the people that invented the web at the CERN a lot of the resources, because we use the same data center, so we were meeting on a daily basis. And when the web started, I realized that we need to develop a company that will protect the humans in what at that time was the internet revolution. Today, obviously, that has become exponential. Technology is coming into the fourth industrial revolution or Industry 5.0, and all that has huge consequences for something that we were not able to protect when we created the web. So I first tried to do with the UN. I traveled in 190 countries. I have in my house a cold luggage with cold wear and hot ones, because at last minute you will go to Yemen or go to Zambia or go to Polonia or go to Siberia, right? That was the kind of work that we were doing. And I got inspired by the fact that there was at that time a very big digital divide, which still is the case, but at that time we talk a bit more. And then I got inspired by the fact that if you want to solve the issues that they were characterized during that time, you need to develop a company that will be different from the others. Obviously, a company needs to have a mission statement, and my mission statement was I want to provide a digital identity to every single person on Earth, a digital identity that is owned by the user and not by the platform, so the user is not dependent on the platform, a digital identity that is under your consent, so you can retrieve that consent if you don't want to give it anymore, a digital identity that protects your data. So that was the mission statement of WISEKEY. WISEKEY means World Internet Secure Key. So it's also wisdom, but it's also the fact that we are securing the internet, because the World Wide Web, when it started, didn't know what a human was. It still doesn't know. You know, the web is the interconnection of machines. So we humans, we don't exist in the World Wide Web. At the beginning, there was not that important because technology was not that advanced, but now it's becoming important because the World Wide Web now is AI, is quantum, is everything that sits on the top of the web that is having inherited the deficiencies of the original web. So I was not an entrepreneur, I was a diplomat. I traveled the world as a diplomat. I was very good on tech because I used to work inside tech. I used to protect also the United Nations against hackers. UN is one of the agencies that any hacker on Earth will dream to hack, because they can put that in their CV. And we managed to interconnect many countries to Geneva. One of the things I realized when I was in that time is that organizations like WHO has a huge amount of data on health. Organizations like WIPO, intellectual property, organizations like ITU, but that data was only in silos. That data was not shared with the rest of the world. The rest of the world could not access the data that was so important for them to download and being able to interconnect. So I was the first person to actually buy a PC, an IBM PC, which was very big with 2 floppies. And I interconnect that PC to the mainframes in Geneva as a way to let the people download the data to the PC and process the data locally. And that was a paradigm shift. That basically was like an enlightening moment where suddenly people, that they didn't have access to data, I got VeriSign and came to see me because VeriSign was very curious what I was doing in PKI, public key infrastructure. And then I basically launched WISEKey. I raised over the years $400 million for WISEKey. And then I was one of the first technology companies in Switzerland that went to the Swiss Stock Exchange first and after to the NASDAQ. And I was a bit surprised why there were only one. And one of the reasons I realized the young people in Switzerland, they are not necessarily attracted to take the risk of creating companies, because when you leave a university, creating a company is a big financial risk, it's a reputational risk if you miss and things like that. And I was surprised, a rich country, why you don't have, with all the innovation that we have in EPFL, in institutes, why we don't have more entrepreneurs. So in all my career, after that, obviously, you become bigger, you have more resources, you bring other talent to complement your talent, and then you build the team. You know, success is not a one-person thing, it's a team effort, right? And
you've been spot on with every single technology trend, and you've been there early, right? So how difficult has it been, and what is your inspiration for thinking about, I mean, satellites, for example? You've been in that space for a long time, and now all of a sudden, satellites are, a hot thing. So what inspires you to sort of pursue, and how do you get your...
Maybe that's a very good question, actually. Maybe the fact that I look technology from the human angle of it. I say, is that technology something that is going to unleash the human potential? I am against, enhance the human capabilities by putting chips on your brain. I think we have a much better play here to unleash the potential we already have with technology. Technology is always a tool. Yeah. If you are an artist and you don't have a tool, you will not be able to paint, but the tool will not paint alone, right? So it's a complement between human and technology. And I'll always look technology to say, is this technology going to help humans? Are humans going to prosper because this technology is going to make them more wealthy, more educated, more transactional?
Or even identity, like that's a very critical piece of the puzzle with respect to freedom and...
Exactly. And that's actually the problem. I started in the Web 1.0, the Web 2.0. This social media company got extraordinarily wealthy and powerful by just data mining people's data because they control their identity. And I was a bit against that, to say, no, the identity should belong to the person. Like we do in the normal life. I mean, if you invite me to your house to dinner one night, I will come into your house, but doesn't mean that I'm going to come every night to have a dinner with you. Your consent will only be provided once, and you will be retrieving that consent the moment you don't need it anymore or you don't want it anymore.
Which is the whole concept of Web3, which you've been envisioning for before it was even called Web3, right?
Yeah, but I tried in Web 2.0 to bring this concept. Everybody agreed to the concept, but we didn't have the technology to implement. And the forces were so big on the $1 trillion company that they were data mining people data, making themselves very wealthy. That was an unfair fight, right? We didn't have the tools to do it. We have some elements like encryption, we have PKI, but not mass market technology. And there's where the Web 3.0 blockchain revolution arrived. And this is changed totally the game, because now you can decentralize the data into ledgers. You can tokenize assets, so you can return wealth to the person that is giving you any right, and you can provide a totally decentralized economy. So it's going to be a fight. Web 2.0 is fighting against Web 3.0. So we are like the king in the castle fighting with the small guys, then they are getting very big and very powerful. But they are losing the game. I mean, Web 3.0 is going to activate it. And Web 4.0, which is what is coming, is actually the convergence of all technologies. I mean, we are in a situation like we were in the Renaissance period, where you have medicine, architects, mathematics, design, Leonardo da Vinci, all these genius, they were able to bring all those resources together and change the world. We're in that phase now, on the convergence phase. In Davos, CNBC launched the convergent discussion, and basically that's what it is. In our days, if you want to succeed, you have to be multi-phases, multidisciplinary, multi-talent in order to bring all those technologies to converge, provided that humans are always protected. So when somebody say to me, I want to create a company because I want to do X, I say, do you have in your design a human-centric approach? And if you do, then you're going to succeed. If you don't, you Yeah, exactly.
So we should talk a little bit about your sort of innovations around IoT devices, because what 70% of the Earth doesn't have towers for cell coverage in order for IoT devices to speak. So you came up with this idea of utilizing satellite bandwidth, and now, of course, you can have these IoT devices independently making payments so that you can support all kinds of fractional models and all these new economy models that are coming in. So talk a little bit about what.
Exactly. So the thinking first, when I started to sell semiconductors, we have 1.6 billion semiconductors already distributed globally. And then those semiconductors are powering car, drones, alarm system, cameras. So all objects are getting secured by those objects. But the next thing you want to do is let that object to pay to another object. Banks are dreaming to become the clearinghouse of machine-to-machine transaction settlement.
Enough, right?
Because they do that with humans, but we are only 3 billion and they have a bank account eventually. Imagine that every single object has its own bank account and be able to transact between themselves. So your car pays to your plug, rather than pay dollars, they pay tokens, and with those tokens you exchange back and forward, creating an economy. So we put that technology at the chip level. We put wallets that allows the chip to pay to another chip, and we create a cryptocurrency with an unsealed coin, which basically allows to disintermediate the transaction between two objects. So the next question was, okay, now you have so many objects, you have so many things connected. How can you provide connectivity? Because everybody would like to know where your things are, where a person would like to know where their cars are without compromising privacy. How can you, if you're in the middle of the sea, you want to know how your containers are doing, and for that you need satellite. I tried before satellite with LoRa, Sigfox, all the other method, but it was impossible because, as you say, the Earth is very big and only 10% on Earth is connected, 90%. So today is a very important day because we are unveiling a post-quantum microchip. So this is the first generation of chips that will defend a quantum attack. So quantum computers are going to arrive. There are different theories about it. But the day they arrive, they will find a chip like that will stop any potential harm. This quantum computer, which is unlimited potential in terms of potential harm, because they are very powerful, they will do in any object. Could be a car, could be a plane, could be anything, right? And those chips, they already be trained to defend that attack. So we are entering into what we call quantum security and post-quantum. Post doesn't mean after quantum, means what will happen once quantum arrive, how chips will defend that attack. So we are one of the 3 companies in the world with this technology. NASDAQ has welcomed us to do the closing bell as a way to demonstrate their support for our company. And this is going to be a great day because it's the quantum day, right? So we expect everybody to take note of what is coming and that we have solutions already that can solve that problem.
Which is wonderful. And so we also should talk about NFTs because you have Wise Art, and we're very forward-thinking in a secure mechanism for NFTs. To represent historic documents as well as artwork.
So what I realized that everything is going to be tokenizable. So everything is going to have a token, and as a consequence, NFT is a token. There are industries like art that they will be the first adopters because art is in boxes. Museums have amazing art which is still in boxes. So we convinced several big museums. We went to the Vatican. We went to big events around the world where they are saying, "Hey guys, your art is not known. Nobody knows about your art." So we developed a platform with the name wise.art where people can upload their digital art. So they are digital twins of the originals. The originals can be tagged with chips, so you can create a one-to-one relation between the original and the digital twin. And once the digital twin is on the platform, the entire art community can do whatever they need. They can enhance with AI. They can break into multiple tokens, so they can start to play with Web 3.0 technologies and tokenization to revolutionize art. We already have thousands of artists, and this is growing exponential. And because we are cybersecurity DNA type of structure, obviously we pay a lot of attention in the protecting the artists against its copyright, intellectual property. So we are actually providing them a service that maybe other platforms are unable to provide because they don't have that DNA.
So before we leave, is there any advice that you would give students with respect to sort of where they should focus their studies in order to be able to embrace and be able to take advantage of this incredible opportunity that's coming, because you've got all these new technologies, new business models? What would you recommend to graduate students?
I would recommend to follow everything which is related to emotions. I think emotions is going to be a capital that has not been considered before. If you cry, you will consider like a weak person. Maybe crying in the future will give you the indication that this is actually a person that you have to recruit. Because emotion is something that AI cannot handle or handles very bad. It can mimic emotion, but will never feel emotions. And the jobs of the futures will be the jobs where empathy, emotional relations, human interactions are going to be required, and where robots or AI or advanced mechanisms will not be able to replicate. And obviously, you can create companies around that. Again, companies that they are driven into the humanity, unleash the human potential, and basically develop the next generation of the future. And I think this generation has an amazing tool, which is I didn't have when I created WISEKEY. I needed hundreds of millions of dollars to start. You can start now with $10,000 and do the same company because you have free cloud, you have access to technology, you have open source software that you can download and build your own AI. So it's so much available for students. You just need to don't be afraid, be bullish about it, and believe about your study and make a lot of money and help the world to be a better place.
Well, it sounds like great advice. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know that you've developed a lot of other technologies like PKI and a lot of networking, cybersecurity technologies that we don't have time to talk about. Well, but congratulations for the amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much. That was a pleasure. Thank you, Christina.
Appreciate
All the
it.
best. Yeah. Thank you.